didn't work. But I'm not good in math and I don't care that much. I am so excited. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And today, I'm sure you noticed we have no music. I have to figure that out. So the music I've been using forever is now copyrighted. I am getting email after email after email saying that I am now revenue sharing with the owners of that song. And at first I was like, that is not fair. But then I was like, it's their music, Asia, relax. So I'll probably be revenue sharing every last video I've ever made because I've always used that for my intro music. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna find different music. I just didn't have time to do it for today. And today is seed starting season for me. It is 12 weeks from my last frost. So I've already pulled the seeds out, but I normally just write the week on a bag and then I put all of the seeds that I'm supposed to start that week in the bag. Another thing that I do is I put a reminder on the calendar in my phone and it reminds me, it does an alert and it reminds me that it's my 12 weeks before my last frost, right? So yesterday was actually 12 weeks from my last frost. However, when I put the reminder in, I put it in at 10 p.m. That is so unfortunate. I went through yesterday and made sure that all of them are on AM. I was laying in the bed last night. Me and my daughter were watching TV and I got an alert and I was like, well, what reminder is that? And it was the reminder that I should have started my seeds yesterday. It is one day. It is not a big deal. There is wiggle room with getting your seeds started. So I am fine that I am one day behind. It's really not a big deal. The other thing we're starting today, I'm going to show you what seeds I'm starting too. But someone sent me a bunch of ranunculus corms. So there were 2 packs of these. I think it's 28 total. And then there was 1 pack of these. I believe they're from the $1.25, $1.50, how much ever the Dollar Tree is now. I'm pretty sure that's where they're from. But I have used them before. I have them soaking. They've been soaking since yesterday because they come as really hard, crunchy pieces. And I'm going to show you real quick. They look just like that. And then you put them in water so that they can hydrate. So we're gonna plant those today too. They are spring flowers. So they will bloom in spring, but they don't do well in the summer. And I'm pretty sure you can go and dig the corms up. I don't do that. I feel like they're just very small to be going to dig up and find. I probably could. I might this year. And I've only successfully had them when I purchased them from the store already grown. I have tried corms, left them in the water too long. All kinds of foolishness, y'all. But this year, we're gonna try to do this right. So yesterday I put them in the water. I came back every so often, poured the water out, refreshed it with new water. And so they seem quite plump. I should have taken a video of if I can find a picture, I'll put it on the screen of what they look like right out of the packet, but they're very pretty flowers. And so I'm gonna put them in the flower bed for spring since I did not get a lot of snapdragons started like I normally do, but these are very pretty flowers, very nice for cut flowers too. So let's talk about what we're starting today. We're gonna start probably 2 plants total of roselle or sorrel, depending on where you are in the world. They get really big, and so I don't need, and I don't have space for a bunch of plants. So we're only gonna start enough for 2. We are also starting our eggplant today. This is a long purple eggplant. I only really eat those. They're the only ones I really enjoy. So I only grow 1 variety of eggplant. We are also gonna start some dreadlock amaranth. Someone sent this to me, and this month and last month, I had been like gathering all my seeds, trying to figure out what I had, what I didn't have, what I wanted, what I didn't want anymore. And so in that process, I found like seeds tucked away in my desk. I found seeds everywhere. Someone sent that to me. I really like amaranth, so I'm gonna grow that. We're also starting some dahlias, and this is unwinds mix. We're also growing the Floret Bee's Choice dahlias. I think they're very pretty, and it looks like it's a mix of different dahlias. I love dahlias. They're good for cut flowers too. We're also starting our asters. This is a violet aster. Asters are beautiful flowers, nice fluffy flowers. We're doing a yellow aster, Matsumoto. blue aster, those are beautiful. Y'all know purple is my favorite color. We're doing a salmon Janina aster, Krigo or Krago mix aster. My arm is shaking, y'all, because I've been holding it up showing these seeds. Anyway, Power Puff mix, a rose aster as well. And then we're starting all of our peppers today. I need to grab the golden Marconi. I said the golden Marconi didn't make the cut, but as I've been planning, I do have space. So it's gonna go in a green stalk. The bags, the grow bags are gonna grow all of the peppers I really, really want. The green stalks, because I have just started growing in green stalks like mid-year last year, I have to learn that, but I'm gonna try my novelty peppers in there. Anywho, we got a California Wonder, a Murasaki. Never grown those before. I just think they're pretty and I want to try them. Shishito peppers, my absolute favorite peppers. Grand Bell mix. And I just want some bell peppers and I'm going to let them stay and ripen as long as I can allow them to because I don't really care for green peppers. And I have 2 packs of those. My son got them for me for Christmas and he got me 2. A candy cane chocolate cherry. I just think these are pretty. I've never grown them before, but they have variegated leaves and they are striped. So I thought those were cute. So that's why I'm growing them. Jimmy Nardello, one of the sweetest peppers that you can grow. Absolutely love Jimmy Nardello peppers. Early jalapeños. And I almost bought some new seeds, y'all. But I decided you have jalapeños, you're going to work with what you have. I want the big ones, the ones that grow really big. But we can maybe do that next year. Ancho grime pepper. And I like ancho peppers. So I feel like they have a little bit of sweetness to them with a little bit of bitterness. I actually like those. That's one of the green peppers. Shishito and ancho are really the only green peppers I eat, but they don't taste super bitter to me. And then we're growing the cayenne long slim pepper. I grow those mostly for my chickens and I like to have them on the shelf. Y'all, I went out and got some hand sanitizer because what I went looking for was tags. Why would you have seeds out with no tags this size to label the seeds? The stores had the seeds out, but no labels. And so I tried this, and y'all tell me if I'm doing something wrong. Does it have to sit for a long time? It didn't work. Maybe this got to sit for a while. I'm gonna try it on camera too. But y'all told me hand sanitizer. I think that's what y'all told me. Unless that's not what y'all told me and I got it wrong. Hold on, I need to get a napkin. So let's see here. Cause it did not work. It's not working. What am I doing wrong, y'all? Oh, by the way, y'all, before we get started, we're doing a giveaway. I ended up with an extra box of my seeds from Greenstock. So all you need to do is put a comment below and tell me why you would like the seeds. And also make sure you are a subscriber. Make sure you like the video, you know, that kind of stuff. I ain't making it hard. I just want to share, if I'm honest. So yeah, we're gonna do a seed giveaway. It will close, what's today, Monday? It'll close Friday, and I'm not gonna say when I put the winner out or announce the winner, just cause life be all over the place. But it won't be far after Friday. Anyway, let's get started. If you remember, I am really trying to make sure I don't overseed because I really don't want a lot of extra plants for no reason. This table is wet and now my packet is wet. That's unfortunate. I took time to go through. I'm still planning. I'm at the point where I know what I need. I went back through. I haven't drawn out my garden beds yet. I still haven't done that. But I went back through and these are the things I need for 12 weeks. And how many of each I need. With that being said, that's what we're doing today. Because I don't have a lot of space left downstairs in the seed germination station, I am going to multi-sow these seeds into my Bootstrap Farmer trays. I am gonna have to prick them out and separate them. It is what it is. I'm running out of space. Although the spring things, and probably a week or two, they're going outside and they'll come in at night so that they don't freeze, but they are going outside, y'all. So the first thing we need are the cayenne peppers. I only need 2 of them. I'm gonna put 3 seeds in here. Actually, am I gonna do that, y'all? I'm really trying to think this year. I don't want a whole bunch of extra plants. But I do have a friend who he gardens, his mother gardens, my mother gardens. So yes, we'll do one more than what we need. And then if we have one extra of everything, fine. But we just don't want a whole lot of everything. So pepper seeds are decent sized seeds. You can see them there. They're not super small, so you don't need to surface sow them, but you also don't need to sow them too deep. They only need to be sowed like 2 times the size of the seed, right? So I don't get too deep into that. I just put a little divot right here in the soil, just like that. And then I drop my seeds down into it. So like I said, I'm doing 3 because I only need 2. Cayenne peppers produce a lot, y'all. So I only need 2. So we're gonna put them all in this same little hole. And you can put them in different corners and stuff too. Either way, I have to separate them, and I haven't had an issue separating seeds that, well, pepper seeds or tomato seeds that are close together. So with that being said, we're just gonna cover it up. And then I'm gonna come back and spray the top of this because right now there aren't any roots at the bottom of this tray. So I will moisten the soil nicely, but I'm not super worried about like the wholesale being super saturated because there aren't any roots. There's nothing, you know, down there. And to avoid a little bit of fungus gnats, you don't want to keep it too moist anyway. My spray bottle is downstairs. We'll just come back and spray them all. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna do about labeling. We'll just see how this goes today. And I will maybe order some labels off of Amazon because it just didn't work for me. If I did something wrong, y'all can tell me in the comments. Was I supposed to like let it sit in the hand sanitizer? I don't know. We need 4 poblano. I've never really experienced like bad germination, if that makes sense. So I always have had extra plants because I overseeded every time. So we only overseed 1 per variety. And like I only did 2 cayenne because they're such heavy producers. Poblanos can be quite heavy producers too. However, sometimes that just doesn't happen. So we're gonna put 5 seeds into this cell as well. And I made my little divot. We're just gonna put 5 seeds in there. So I mentioned in my last video that I don't use heating mats. With pepper plants, they say they need to have a certain temperature of soil to germinate. I am assuming with my lights and maybe perhaps downstairs because of where they are, the temperature is good enough because I never have to use a heating mat. But I have seen where people use them and they work really well. So I'm not saying don't use them. I'm just sharing that I don't, and I still get really good germination. You know what else we got to do today? I forgot to take the humidity dome off of the last group of seeds I started. We didn't start them together. And so we have some leggy calendula and we have some leggy Swiss chard. So we need to take those out and plant them deeper because I caught them early enough, but we need to plant them deeper so that they don't turn out to just be super long plants. So we're gonna do that too. The next thing we need is our jalapeños, and we need 4 of those. Jalapeños actually can produce a lot too. I've had that happen for me. However, they produce very small sometimes. So I'm planting more, but I'm also switching up my fertilizer this year. So normally I fertilize with like fish emulsion all the way through. Last year I started fertilizing with a balanced fertilizer, and I noticed I was getting a lot more flowers. So I don't know if that's going to change the size of these peppers or not, but I do know it helped with the production when I switched it up and started using an all-purpose fertilizer. And I used a Spoma Organics fertilizer closer to the end of the year last year. I used to see that all the time. I would see where people say, switch up at this point when it starts flowering. And I said to myself, self, and if you know me like I think you know, you already know what I'm gonna say. I don't need to do all of that. But I'm really in the stage now of, if I do need to do it, I wanna know for myself that I do need to do it. And so I did that last year, and it did seem to make a difference. So we'll be doing that again this year. Did I put that right here, y'all? Girl, I ain't paying attention. And those were jalapeños. I do have a few tags that I can still write on. And somebody was telling me, you know, that I could use yogurt containers and stuff. I know, I just don't have any yogurt containers. And here's the thing, if you've been around for a while, You know, when I first started, I was saving everything. But I live in a small house and everything is already kind of packed in here. And the more I save, the more stuff is in here. And the more the walls feel like they are going to close in on me. So with that being said, I just don't save stuff like that anymore. And I do reuse my tags. You can see that I try not to throw them away. That's why I went and got the hand sanitizer today, because I was really hoping that I could reuse them. And I'm sure there is a way. And I'm sure y'all gonna tell me in the comments how I can clean these plant tags. And I went to the $1.25 tree, $1.50 tree, right? There was like 10 tags. When I'm starting this much, like this is a big volume of seeds. And when each one of these seeds pop up, I can color code the trays. So I might do that, but I'm still gonna need to label. And so I didn't feel like that was a good price. I feel like I can definitely get more bang for my buck by just ordering off of Amazon, which is what I'm going to do. But I tried to find some at Lowe's and Home Depot today. That was not a successful trip for plant labels. It wasn't a successful trip. I found some fertilizer. I never used it before. It's a 454 maybe. I actually read the bag from the one I actually use now to the one I just got, and it had more in it. So I might have found a better fertilizer. Who knows? Anyway. Oh, by the way, remember we started chamomile and thyme, oregano, all of that stuff, and we put it outside for it to germinate? The chamomile has germinated. I did bring that in the house because there's a lot of it that's germinated, and I'm going to need to prick it out and plant it in its own cell soon. The oregano has germinated and the thyme has germinated. One mint has germinated, and so have the artichokes. So it worked out well. Now, the whole point of winter sowing is to leave it outside. I'm not leaving them outside, especially not the artichokes. Artichokes, they can survive, but they may die back in the cold. So I don't want the seedlings to be outside because I don't want them to die back. They're not mature enough to let them die back and then hope they come back up in summer. Like, we're not doing that. So the chamomile I bought inside too, just because I want to get it separated. So yeah, we need 6 of these candy cane. I did decide to overplant these candy cane because they are definitely a novelty, but I'm putting them in the greenhouse, the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse, and I'm also putting them in the green stalks. And I just think they're gonna be pretty, y'all. They'll add some contrast to my spaces. Girl. Oh no, it's more seeds in there. I was about to say, that's not a lot of seeds. I need 7 of these because I'm planting 6. So these seeds will probably take a week or 2 to come up downstairs in my germination station. And that's okay. Also, that's why I'm planting peppers early, because I want them to have time to germinate and to grow before it's time for us to plant out. All right, grand bale. So multi-sowing them into one cell is gonna save me space, and that's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to get to germination, and then I put them in their own cell trays or even the pots. I don't know where we going from here. We'll see, because I might just go ahead and put them into the 3.3-inch pots, and that's where they'll continue to grow until it's time for planting. But we shall see. I'm gonna do 2 cells of the grand bale because I need 12 of them. 6 in one, 7 in the other. My whole point this year is grow what you eat, grow what you need to preserve. So that's why we have so many grand bale, because these are the things that I want to preserve for powders. I want to put some in the freezer, or I may even freeze dry them. And a lot of people told me about different varieties. I just decided I'm gonna use what I have. I have never really set a budget on my gardening, right? This year, I'm setting a budget on it because, listen, it can get expensive. And especially if it's something I already have, there's literally no point in me buying more. And seeds are one of those things. So with that being said, I did not buy any of those varieties. I did notate them to maybe look for next year when I'm planning out. But I also have 2 green stalks that I need to get set up. So I'm gonna have to buy the soil for that. There's just things. Oh, I just purchased that freeze dryer. So I have to put myself on some kind of budget. I have never done it before. Because this is now my business, I was actually able to see how much money I spent. Still working on that, but the number's already high. Anyway, y'all. Anyway. All right, Granville. Shishitos are next, and it's 14 shishitos. I love shishitos, y'all. And I just want to be able to go out there and get as many as I want. Once they start to produce, just go and get as many as I want out of the garden when I want to. And you need to have a decent amount of plants to do that with shishito peppers. So that's what I'm doing. So we have 14. 4 is already downstairs and germinated, so we only need 10. So we are going to, and the germination, these seeds are older. So I planted 6 seeds and I got 4 to come up. So with that being said, I'm gonna overseed these just a little bit because I think the germination has dropped on these seeds. I'm gonna put 6 in each, so that's 2 additional that we might have, but I honestly doubt that we will. If I was good in math, I would know that I probably need to plant more if we're talking about averages and ratios, but I'm not good in math and I don't care that much. There was a lot of seeds in this packet. I do not know if there's a date on it. No, but they're from Kids Seed Co. These are the same shishito peppers I've been growing since I started growing them. And I think that was probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I fell in love with shishito peppers. I've never had to buy another pack. That's how many seeds they put in this pack. And I've always had decent germination. Like I said, now I just think that the seeds are old. They gotta be at least 3 years old, if not 4. We overseeded a little bit on those. And we did do 2 sales because there was so many. So with peppers, I am not going to fertilize them with fish emulsion in their seedling stage. If you remember, I fought aphids from the time these plants were inside my house until, like, I don't know, late summer. And I don't want to fight them again. So we will be fertilizing these with a all-purpose fertilizer as well. I think I'm doing that with all of my plants until they get outside. Once they get outside, I'll start dosing them with fish emulsions. That's like nitrogen, because that'll help them grow, help them get stronger, help them produce leaves. And then when I start to see the flowers, I'll switch back over to all-purpose. But we're not starting with fish emulsion. Not in the house, not outside when these plants are seedlings. My eggplants also, I fight with aphids on those, and my artichokes the same. Like, that's a change this year though, because I have always fertilized with fish emulsion. I also had never heard that excess nitrogen can cause aphid issues. I just heard that last year. And so I'm trying to focus on that because we're not fighting aphids. We might fight aphids, but it won't be because I was fertilizing with fish emulsion, y'all. We'll see what happens. So everything that I'm sowing today, aside from the ranunculus, is pretty much being sowed the same way. So there's nothing fancy or different between these. So I'm gonna go ahead, get all of these sown. Then we are gonna get the ranunculus sown, and then I'm going to say bye so that I can edit this video and get it up and out to y'all today. And hopefully y'all enjoy it. Hopefully it's helpful. Okay, so I am about to do my roselle. And I remember someone asking me about roselle, and they said they couldn't get theirs to germinate. And I was gonna plant them regardless of whether I was gonna grow them or not, just to kind of show what I do. But I really don't do anything. Roselle may be one of those plants that they tell you to soak the seeds. Maybe try soaking your seeds before you plant. They are kind of hard seeds, so it might not be a bad idea to try to scarify them too. I don't do it though. These seeds for me are saved seeds, and I have a lot of them. So with that being said, if they don't germinate, I'll just replant them. I have a whole bunch. I gave a whole bunch away in the last seed giveaway, and I still have a lot of them. It's a good thing to save your seeds. I'm trying to get better with that. Okay, I'm back again. I know I said that there wasn't anything that needed to be so different. Actually, amaranth is a surface sower. So you literally just put the seeds on the top of the surface, you press them down, and then you have to make sure you keep them moist. So I'll just show you what I do. How many of these do I need? I'm planning to do 3. I got no idea where I'm putting these, but I'm sure I can find some spot. So I'm gonna sow them right here. They're really small seeds. I'm gonna pour some in my hand, but that's how small they are. Those little specks. So we're just gonna drop them right on the top of the soil. We're gonna push them down. You can see them a little bit, or I can see them a little bit. I doubt you can see anything. And then we're gonna spritz the soil. And that's how you plant if you need to surface sow. You don't cover the seeds with any of the soil. Okay, so I also decided we're not sowing both dahlias. They both look similar, right? Because this is a mix. We're just gonna sow the Floret Bee's Choice, and we will try these next year. I'm really using some restraint this year, y'all. And so with dahlias, I just stick them in. I lay them to the side. When seeds get older, they still work. Like, they'll still germinate, but you just may get less seeds to germinate from that packet. I never throw any seeds away, like, ever. I have seeds from 2021 when I first started really growing from seed. Oh my goodness. Forgot to turn my mic on the last few times I turned the camera on to start talking to y'all. That's unfortunate. We're probably also gonna drop the number of dahlia varieties we're growing as well. We're gonna do like different colors, but like if I have 2 purple, we're not doing 2 different purple. We're gonna just do 1 purple. Oh, and the soil I'm using is Spock's Farm Happy Frog. A lot of y'all were telling me where I could get it cheaper, and I'm so happy for y'all. But here, there is nowhere in my area without driving 30 to 45 minutes where I can get it that low. And I think people were telling me about a place called Rural King. We don't have Rural King. That's not an option for me, but I do appreciate y'all letting me know. I most definitely want this Matsumoto blue. We'll do the salmon. We don't have anything yellow, so we'll do the yellow. So we're down to 3 asters, and it's these 3. So let's get to sowing. And it doesn't say anything about their roots being disturbed or anything like that. So we're also gonna multi-sow these sails. We'll see how that goes, y'all. They don't need to be sown real deep. So like, I'm literally just making a little divot, and then I'm gonna push it back over top. And they're very small seeds. Those are the size of the seeds. Smaller seeds just don't need to go too deep. And we're just gonna drop it right there, just like this. They don't need to be super deep. And hopefully we'll have at least 6 of those beautiful purple asters. All right, that's just about it, y'all. And saved a lot of space. All right, so I decided we're not going to up-pot the leggy seedlings just yet because all of them have not sprouted. They are under the lights now, but just in case more of them turn leggy, we'll just wait a day or 2. So maybe Wednesday's video, I'll show you that. Because Wednesday video, I am planning to put up a hydroponics grow system, which I know people are waiting for, and I do apologize. So we're not gonna do that today. I went down there and looked, and I was like, you might as well just give it time. But what we are gonna do are use our green stock trays. I planted in them, but the things did not survive because I did not take care of them. So since I have enough for 30 plantings, that's what we're gonna plant the dahlias in. We just gonna take these. These are the little corms I was telling you about. And we're gonna plant them into these sails. I think that they'll last in these trays until it's time for me to plant out. That's what I'm hoping for, because they are a little bit deeper, I think, and they're a little wider too. So that's why I'm making the decision to plant these in here. I think I need to make my hole a little bit deeper. And I'm planting the little legs going down and the other piece coming up. And I'll probably have to get a little more soil to just make sure it's covered well. And then I'll moisten the soil too. But ranunculus are beautiful, y'all. If you've never grown them, might be something you want to put in there and try to grow. But also, I plan to put this outside. They are cold-loving plants. I think they'll be fine outside. Just like I did with my herbs. They don't mind cold. And I plan to get that greenhouse fixed so they can go in the greenhouse. The stuff that I want to leave outside, the black and clear one. But that's all we're doing with the ranunculus corms. And we should start to see them come up soon. I'm gonna put the domes on them. They click in. They're pretty cool. They click in, and then you can pick up the whole thing like that. They're really cool. I like them. And like I said, these are from Green Stock. Now, y'all, I think that's the video for today, which I think it is also long. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here, but it is finally seed starting time, y'all. I am so excited. Seed starting time just means we get getting closer to summer, we getting closer to spring. I am so excited. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.